A quick intro, PMC offers a wide range of services to help you out with your QMS as well. I'll be going over these points with you today. We'll take a brief look at what the Intellect QMS is all about and why is it beneficial for you to opt for that compared to any other software in the market. Let's start by understanding the basics of what a QMS is and why it's required. Just a few lines over there. QMS, or a quality management system, is a must-need in today's world where every task you are doing is digital. And instead of leaving a paper trail out in the world and trying to figure out where your processes are stuck or where your documents are or what's happening into the system, it's easier to have a central software system which can automate all these things for you. It'll have a standardized document. It'll have your standardized processes. You can access it from anywhere, from any time, at any time. It saves you a ton of money to avoid the paper trails and trying to even figure out where the problem lies, whereas a software gives you all these analytics in real time, in person, and it saves you the time of finding the root causes between problems too. So that's one of the major things that would help an organization out to optimize their production as well as their functioning, as well as to acquire or achieve compliance standards or quality certifications. A company needs to have a strong, robust system of their processes and the document control as well in the organization, which is again tested when you apply for compliances and certifications. So again, these are the points where the QMS, or the quality management system itself shines. And the QMS here is replaced, the S here is replaced by software, because today everything is done on a digital level. So a software is gonna solve all these things for you, which was a manual process beforehand. Moving on to Intellect QMS, the Intellect QMS 4.0 is a highly configurable, integrated suite of QMS applications and non-code compliance platform. What it means is anytime you have to design your QMS, you don't have to start by writing a code in here. It's a drag and drop method where you can use the suite and its features to create any application that you want, tailor-made to your industry and your requirement. If you see the Intellect's vision, it does say it right, where we say empower everyone to innovate. This gives you the control. Being a non-code based software, it gives you more control to access software, to change, make edits as you grow, and Intellect provides training to people, to clients, for you to be able to access the software and make edits as you go as well. Just a few points about Intellect that I would like to bring it up over here is it's a market leading product. All the applications, all the QMS and all the QMS platform that it's built on, it's robust, it's tried and tested. We have over 350 customers and 500,000 users currently who are continuously using it. We have pretty big names in that. We'll go on that too. It's a highly scalable software, like I said. You can start small and you can keep adding to it. It will be robust. It will give out the same results every time. It won't be a complicated process to add on new information as well. Own your qualities or apps. What does that mean is, like I said, since a no coding based platform, every person who uses it can learn how to design as well. So what it in turn does is, when you own the QMS, you are making the decisions as to what changes need to go where and what it needs to look like for me to reflect my needs. So for other than having to go back to Intellect every time, you can do it yourself. So just some of these points about Intellect that make it a edge about the others. And again, to mention that this is the only non-code based software in the market right now. Regarding the quality, knowledge, and expertise, also with Intellect and PMC comes a team and a network of people specializing in different fields who are at your disposal from the time you decide on implementing QMS to the point where it is actually implemented. What it does for you is basically it gives you time to focus on your things and optimizes the process of implementing the whole QMS system by with our experts who can let you know where or which areas you need to focus on, and how you need to scale this in your company before implementing. Going to the next slide, these are the customers who we currently work with, who have been using the software. So you can see that it's a wide variety of industries that the software serves. This also speaks for the software itself because it says that it's not just a one size fits all. It's a tailor-made software which any industry, no matter what it's making, can use to tailor to its own needs. So all the things Intellect Compliance Platform offers are mentioned over here. Intellect's no-code platform can be hosted on cloud or on premise as needed, and it can be modified to suit your needs. So when I'm saying cloud or on-site, what does that mean is you can start by hosting your data on cloud, or if you're not that big scale, you can start even by hosting on a private cloud, on your private servers in your company, and later on try to scale to a bigger network or move it to cloud as you grow. So that's another benefit using Intellect QMS is you can start small. Even if you started with a private server, we still have options. You can deploy it on your cloud-based servers, or we also offer AWS or working with Azure, and Intellect works with all of these. Another thing about Intellect is the Intellect platform, like I said, comes with some pre-built applications like the non-conformation, document control, CAPA, all these things, which I'll run through in the next slide. Apart from that, it also lets you build custom applications which would suit your business needs. Now, it could be standard or it could be non-standard, and depending on the metrics that you want to plug in into this. Some of the development options Intellect offers on the get-go is using AWS or Amazon Web Services for cloud computing. Now, Amazon Web Services, as if you guys use it or if you don't, it has the most comprehensive compliance controls, and it supports more security standards and compliance certifications than any other web services out there right now. Again, built on top of the award-winning Intellect Compliance Platform, all Intellect eQMS apps can be easily modified to address an organization's unique business and regulatory requirements. It is also possible to do all those things in Azure as well. Sorry. AWS compliance, these are some of the standards that the AWS is working with currently, the 9001, 27001, 27017, and 18. Just some of the compliances it already works with. Additional options, like I said, you can host it on private clouds or on premises as well, with security options such as HIPAA and government cloud, wherein it's a token-based security system wherein one credential lets you access all the data in the system, and it doesn't need to validate your credentials every time. So that's a token-based security system that what Intellect offers. With Intellect Compliance Platforms, users can build new business applications to automate virtually any business processes, like I said. And our no-code platforms enables non-programmers to develop forms, workflows, and reports that are in exact match with their business need today and in the future as well. So that's another thing to think about is your non-programmers in the company can do these things themselves too. So if you are part of the quality process, you yourself can work on these things. These are some of the out-of-the-box applications that come with Intellect QMS 4.0 built in. Now, it's an option. Again, you can opt in for all of these, or you can choose what you want, depending on what your needs are at that moment. Like if I was starting small, maybe I start with document control first, and then try to bring in complaint management, non-conformation, one by one, as I scale my operation. So again, this is just to give you an idea on all the applications that are programmed and pre-built in the QMS 4.0 if you choose for it to be that way, or it also gives you an option to customize them as you want. Just to give you an idea of what it looks like once you open it, here you can see all the web apps that you can have. For example, you have document control, employee training, complaint management, non-conformance, CAPA. Again, this is just an example of what all is added in the system and how it shows up when you open it. In contrast with like popular belief that building takes more time than buying, when you go out there trying to look for a QMS software, you would not think about trying to build a software around your needs from scratch because you don't know coding or it might take more time. It's all the unknowns. Intellect excels here because of its no-code solutions itself. So all these drag and drop options in the design mode. So this is just to give you an idea of what the interface looks like. Again, since all these applications are built on the same platform, it offers a seamless connectivity between them. What I mean by that is any data that you have in one application is obviously going to be accessible in other application that easily as well. If I have a complaint management, for example, if I was talking about complaint management, I was getting too many complaints and the frequency was going more than what I anticipated, then I might try to escalate that complaint onto nonconformance or even to CAPA directly. And that's the kind of flexibility and ease that QMS, the Intellect QMS 4.0 will give you with the seamless connectivity of the apps, since all apps are built on the same platform. Now, since each of these apps can interact with each other, you have less amount of time spent doing these operations in different applications because you can interconnect them and raise queries, assign tasks, or schedule them at a later date as well. And Intellect KMS will take care of all those things internally. And it'll give you a report as well where you stand on those things too. Going forward, like I said, that you can build custom apps or business apps that will help you on your business, your industry, the way you want it. So these are just examples of some of the business apps that were built on Intellect, other than the standard quality ones, like operations management, program management, CRM. All of these apps, some of them are even built by our customers. They themselves have tried things out and even done things internally that have helped them out as well. So just to give you an idea that this is easy to do with the drag and drop option. The QMS competitive landscape. So this slide is just to show how Intellect stacks up against every software that's out there in the market, pretty much. If I'm looking from a customer point of view, I would like to focus on the implementation speed, the integration options, cost optimization, and even configurability to most extent. Because I would like to bring in this software at minimal cost and maximum time. So since this is a no-code based software, you can see that the implementation speeds are higher than any of the competitors because you're getting like a suite of options that you can pick and choose from rather than having to design it from scratch. Integration options, again, Intellect QMS seamlessly can connect with any ERP system that's out there, like the SAP, NetSuite, and any Salesforce. Any data that you're hosting, we can pretty much migrate the data from there and use it into our Intellect QMS software to get it started with. Like, you won't have to start from scratch. So that's again a plus point on the integration side. Again, all these things in the end are saving you time by implementing it quicker, having access to it quicker internally since you guys manage it later on, and even having option of integrating with other databases. All these things in turn are going to save you time and money, and that's a major factor when you're looking at something that's going to standardize your process. So again, cost of optimization, you can see is again stacking up against all the softwares at the higher level. So this is just to give you a brief idea on where the Intellect stands in the market compared to the other softwares. Intellect can be configured to meet any FDA regulation. ISO standard, or even any additional compliance requirements that might not be mentioned over here. This is just a list of all the FDA and ISO certifications that Intellect works with or is compliant with. Today, businesses across a range of industries trust Intellect to help them improve operations and comply with stringent regulations, even ISO standards, and to most of the extent, even help them adhere to the global practices requirements. So it's just another benefit of Intellect is you can configure it to meet any compliance you want. FDA, ISO, or even any other compliances that are not mentioned in the traditional list. Going on to the features of the software in terms of what output and what reports it can shoot out. Again, along with the options to design custom application, it also comes option to design custom reports. What they do is gain real-time insights into your operations, basically. This saves time by making it easier for you to make these decisions faster than normal, because you don't have to spend time looking and digging for the root causes. Also, these dashboards can give you all kinds of metrics to even point out process issues, bottlenecks, inefficiencies, if you can set them up that way. They are easily accessible wherever you are and lets you collaborate with the employees seamlessly, like I said. So you can see a couple of these dashboards shown over here. These are just the examples. For example, a gauge chart over here. We have set these dashboards in a way that it shows if I'm keeping up with the compliance rate, what the review rates are, what are this month's opportunities, and again, this looks this way because it was set up this way. It can look any way you want and show any metrics that would give you a better idea. Another thing that the Intellect QMS software offers, which is pretty helpful, is its dynamic and powerful workflows. Every app in the Intellect QMS system will show these workflows or flowcharts. For example, you can see the document control flow over here. It shows exactly how data is flowing through your system, where the checkpoints are, or where are they set up at, which point it is at in the system, like where the document is at in the system. It's shown by the green and yellows. If it's green, it means that it's completed that stage and it's moving on to the next step. If it's yellow, that means pending, And again, those things you can configure to your liking as well. Another thing that you can see in this is if you hover over any of these objects, it'll also tell you who the owner of this document is, whose input is pending, and what is the due date. And even if you double click on any of these objects, it will take you right to the step where it is supposed to be filled out, or even where it is remaining. So when you're working on a large scale, when you scale your QMS to a level where you're covering the whole organization, you're going to have a lot of activities on your dashboard, on your document control, at which point it's going to be hard for you to figure out what things are remaining or where you are at in the process. So the dashboard, the analytical reports, and the workflows, all those things combined are ways to navigate around the QMS as well, and even to do checks basically on where things are at in the system. So it's like an update as well. The workflows are powerful because you can set these workflows initially and add processes to them. Take, for example, like I said, when I wanted to escalate from a customer management to a non-conformance, I would have to give the software access to the non-conformance. So I can set up my workflows in such a way that, okay, if the complaint management needs to be escalated to non-conformance, I need to make a check. So I can add those steps in my workflow, and then later on go in there to add my other documentation like the forms or relevant information that is going to help me make a decision. So that's why these workflows are very powerful. They let you navigate, they let you edit, they are a good dynamic visual as to where the processes are, and it completely lets you know where your process starts and ends, even with the timestamps and everything. So it's a detailed log of your workflow as well. Another feature of Intellect QMS is the audit trails. Again, audit trails are required for international standard compliances, and I think Intellect QMS does a good job of logging these, wherein you have all the information as to what's happening inside your organization, what actions are taken by who and by when. This is again as shown on the screen, can have many more details assigned to it as well, and have this audit trail show up like a report. So again, this will be done in the background in the Intellect QMS. So any changes, any modifications, it will automatically log these in, and it will show up in the audit trails. With Intellect QMS, you can also go mobile, wherein you can have these applications that you designed on the web on your phone as well, and you can input the data on the go. Now, many times this would trigger a question as to would I have to design the whole application newly for this mobile interface, to which the answer would be no, because Intellect QMS, again, being a non-code based software, it has features which would let you take the web applications that you designed and convert them to your mobile applications. And it supports iOS and Android interfaces. So you will have no problem using any devices and using the applications on the devices. Also, it lets you edit them offline. So offline compatibility is another thing. If you are out of network, you can still log in the data. It'll still save it on your phone, and once the network is back on, it'll sync onto the cloud or your servers automatically in the background. So that's another feature of Intellective apps. Even the mobile apps come with SAML support, which is, again, like I said, the token-based security system, which which basically simplifies the login experience for users. It lets them access multiple applications with one set of credentials, usually entered just once in the system. So whatever is true for the web applications is going to be true for the mobile applications as well, and the same kind of security and support would be offered for both. Lastly, you can see that the mobile applications are customizable as well. If you see the last mobile app, you can see they were able to make their own brand names and graphics for the mobile application. So what that's telling you is Intellect can be modified to whatever extent you want it to look like. So it's highly customizable. Okay. So that's a plus point when I see it as a customer focus, is like when I want to be on the floor, when I have so many devices, so many people logging in data on floor, I want my apps to be accessible on those devices as well, and collect data over time and sync them to my servers automatically. So all those things, again, Intellect QMS offers, and much easier because of its non-code based platform and its customizable experience. Now to integration, before we move on to the actual, some of the snippets from the actual application. Like I mentioned, integration with Intellect is easier because all these web services and open APIs, we offer integration with all of them. NetSuite, Salesforce, SAP, all your ERP system data, anything that you have already put on your servers, we can migrate it to Intellect and get started with it, especially like supply informations, like part informations and all those things to bring in, to even create document control or even complaint management. You would have to get this data and like fill it out from scratch if you offered no integration. So again, with the easier integration, you can just migrate the data from your existing web services and then put it on Intellect, and it should give you a head start to implementing those. Going to Appendix, I want to walk you guys through some of the applications and what it looks like and what features they have. We can make this quick. I won't deep dive into each of them in too much detail, but I just want to give you an idea. For the dashboard, The dashboard is a central place where all your applications and all the data from your applications is reflected in one place as statistics. Take, for example, I have all these applications of non-conformance, compliance management, CAPA, and all those things. In my dashboard, I can choose to see which I want, or I can see all of them as well. It'll give you a comprehensive report of how many complaints came up, how many are pending, how many need your action, for example, all those things. So you can prioritize on what you need to look at or where you need to focus your attention as. Again, these are all real-time metrics, so they keep updating. These are customizable again. So depending on where you need the data, it could be for a report or something that you want to track back. You can choose and from the options to show any kind of metrics that you want on the dashboard as well. And again, this is a detailed overview of all your applications in one place. So it's pretty helpful. For document control, what it does is it organizes all your documents. So it's a centralized location that everyone can access. Again, ease of access. It customizes your document control. So you can choose workflows and address them uniquely to each person to for example, if I have to schedule reviews or changes, I can assign people that need to take care of it and even put required times and everything. So it also acts like a scheduler too, wherein I can put these things into the system and it will automatically forward those requests to the necessary person, and it will show up on their dashboard as to, okay, you need to do this and you need to pay attention to this, for example. So in doing all of this, I'm automating all these processes automatically. And again, eliminating the redundancies in the paperwork and even the mistakes that are happening too. Okay. Just to give you a brief idea of what document control console looks like in the application, this is a snippet of one of the trainings that we had. As you can see, all the applications will have all these tabs: console, my documents, my staff documents, and settings. These will let you delve into detailed settings and structures into the document control. But to focus, the main console will look like this, wherein you will have all your activities that are pending, in queue, overdue, all those mentioned to you in stats. And again, on the left over here, you can see all the my document activities, which is empty right now. Those will keep on stacking up as you add new documents or new processes into the system as well. Same thing with complaints management. Complaints management tracks intake of customer complaints. It lets you enable continuous improvements. It centralizes your search incidents, wherein you can filter out the incidents, for example, from a certain date, from a certain time, from a certain supplier, or even certain incidents like same kinds of failures again and again. So all these things you can do in the Intellect QMS itself, wherein you can filter out these records to your liking and even kind of see patterns out of it. So in one software, I'm trying to do even analysis, get my data, and even input my processes. So it offers so many things in one package. Moving on. Again, for the complaints management, like I said, all the applications will have a similar dashboard. When you open it, it'll have a console where it shows all your metrics, and these are all the filters I was talking about. So all my statistics I can filter out probably around my date to see how many complaints I received during this time. And instead of time, I can put in any other metric that I'm using. Like I said, supplier or type of failures or frequencies, anything, or even type of complaints and all those things. So overall, all the applications will have similar dashboards. Again, they'll be able to be customized according to your liking. Non-conformance, again, it will create, track, and maintain accurate auditable conformance records. It ensures compliance with all management records. So if it's FDA, it's ISO, you preset these things to what your compliance requirements are, and it will make sure that every time you escalate or create a new non-conformance, it follows the same steps, it follows the same process, it follows the same documents and everything. Assign follow-up tasks. So this is what I was mentioning when I said you could schedule and even check on your completed tasks or pending tasks and even focus your attention to what is required. This is done on your interface itself, wherein it will prioritize the task that you need to focus on first. Even it will prioritize your task depending on date. Take, for example, some of the deadlines are much later than uh, like 2 weeks, and there's some tasks that need to get done this week. So it'll prioritize that too and show up on your dashboard to bring up whatever you need to focus on. Okay. And lastly, automated email notifications. So every time you make changes, or every time someone approves these changes, the owner can set up these processes in such a way that all these notifications are sent out to him as an email as well. So you don't have to be in the software logged in all the time to understand what's happening. If you have a critical task that you started and you wanted to keep up with it while you're on the go, you can have email notifications set up as well, which will let you know if a task is completed, if it's not, what the status is at. It'll give you instantaneous notifications. I'm going to skip to audit management because, again, that's some of the things that if you're an early adopter, or if you're trying to move on from a current software to this, you always need. If you're trying to work towards any compliance or certifications, you all need this as basically audit management. So what it does is prepare for and enforce audit-related tasks and activities to ensure compliance. Reduce risk by enforcing consistent and harmonized processes and procedures while securely management all information in a centralized, scalable, and reliable system. So since it's being hosted at a central location and it's scalable, you know that this information is always going to be accessible by everyone, and it's got a good security system with the SML support and everything. So all your audit data is going to be located in a central location, and it's reliable. You can access it anytime. You can even address internal audits. So you can set up internal audits for your checking to see if you guys are ready, and those can be like a check for you to see if you're actually prepared for what's going to happen in the future. So you can do those internally in the software too, wherein you set up the internal audits and you ask people to comply with those. Again, all these things are giving you options to prepare for your actual audits, which are going to be the real scene. So all these improvements, all the data that you get back from the Intellect QMS is going to help you plan and improve for the actual external audit. So I just feel that any industry, even if you're not working towards quality, even if you're working towards just standardizing your processes or your documentation even, Intellect QMS can help you out with all those things. So not just that if you're working towards a QMS, towards a compliance or a certification, even if you're trying to standardize your internal processes, I think Intellect QMS can help you with all those things, because its applications don't limit itself to be used as a QMS. It lets you make it into any software that you want it to be. So that's, I think, is the best part about Intellect QMS. Is it's just not a one size fits all. Like I said, it's a tailor-made thing which you can choose and pick from.